It recognizes recording in progress.
So we are in Proverbs 11. We're continuing where we left off at the beginning of December, or end of November. Yeah, well, we're towards the end of Solomon's. We're towards the end of Solomon's reign in life, and so I decided to move us on to some of his writings that are attributed to him, and most of Proverbs is a few things towards. So, but we're in the part of Proverbs where it's just what we call the general maxims, just 1-2 liner proverbs, things that we repeat day after day. Although, as Carolyn pointed out before class started, that some of them are a little humorous. They take, we're not in the same context. It's not as politically correct anymore. So. But what I will ask everyone, if you will, we're just going to read through these. I don't have any notes on them because it's hard to do notes on proverb. It's hard to have context when it's all part of the same context. So there's no other reference to it other than Solomon. So if we get to one that you would like some more clarification on or would like to discuss, we can stop and discuss it for a minute or two. So hello. So we're going to go ahead and start that. There are room at the table. Our people of the table.
We're not contagious.
You smell better.
I'm going to turn the camera so it gets everybody.
Take me off.
So let me go ahead and share our screen. I don't think anybody will be joining us online, but if you do, we'll be glad to have you. Let me go ahead and share this. I found a new way to do this. So hopefully it shows up pretty good. Yeah, that's the name of the class.
Wow.
So I call it 8.4 because part 8 was we were in First Kings. But so we're kind of taking, if you are in grammar class and you're doing the structure of a sentence, you got a straight line for the sentence, but then you got all the branches off of the noun and verb and all. That's kind of what I'm doing here. So we're branching off into Proverbs, even though we're still, the context is First Kings. Okay, so we're in Proverbs 11. If you didn't get that already. And again, we're just going to read through them. If we get to one you want to talk about it a little more, just let me know. We'll stop and talk about it. Verse 1, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but an accurate weight is his delight. It seems to be a justice kind of thing. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but wisdom is with the humble.
Is that the source of pride cometh before a fall?
Yeah. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. That kind of goes with one another. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. So we kind of get an idea of what the day of wrath results in, and that's death. Kind of a look in there. The righteousness of the blameless keeps their ways straight, but the wicked fall by their own wickedness.
Takes a while sometimes.
Yeah. The righteousness of the upright saves them, but the treacherous are taken captive by their schemes. Caught in our own webs. When the wicked die, hope perishes, and the expectation of strength comes to nothing. Right? That refers specifically to the wicked there.
Okay. The wicked and I'm walking.
Yep. Speaking of wicked.
Yeah. Take an accent.
The righteous are delivered from trouble, and the wicked come into it instead. That's kind of a weird one, ain't it? The righteous are delivered from trouble, and the wicked come into it instead. So, yeah, the righteous kind of move away from trouble while the wicked not. Kind of what that means. With their mouths, the godless would destroy their neighbors, but by knowledge, the righteous are delivered. So now I kind of disagree with that. It's one thing to know something, it's another thing to apply it. So I think wisdom would be more appropriate instead of knowledge, but that's okay. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. Wicked perish, there is jubilation.
Ding dong, witches, ding.
Pour water on.
By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. We don't have anything like that going on. Whoever belittles another lacks sense, but an intelligent person remains silent. Ooh, that's kind of a neat one because there is a saying that's attributed to a lot of people. In fact, it's even attributed to Abraham Lincoln, although I don't know who actually said it, but it is better to be thought of a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
That's good. I like that.
A gossip goes about telling secrets, but one who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a confidence. You know what? It's nice. Where there is no guidance, a nation falls. Oh, we're getting into national stuff here. Where there is no guidance, a nation falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. I would say, but in an abundance of sane counselors,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian.
or right, wise
Righteous
counselors.
wise counsel, knowledgeable counsel.
We're rewriting Proverbs here. To guarantee loans for a stranger brings trouble. There is safety in refusing to do so. Oh,
Kind of message too, says you get, neither a bar nor a later, but
I assume that maybe some of that went with the rules of usury, a little bit of rules of usury, charging interest on things.
it means that stranger is not gonna pay you off, and you're gonna be stuck with it.
Well, correct. I don't understand.
Please speak, that's.
Early, Protestant preacher says you got to lend to your brother even though you can't repay it.
That's one of Jesus. Yeah, that's some of the parables of Jesus.
That's not.
That's not loaning. That's giving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now we get into some of the fun ones here. A gracious woman gets honor, but she who hates virtue is covered with shame. I get, oh, the timid become destitute, but the aggressive gain riches. I don't think those go together, but they're the same. Yeah, that kind of goes with the parable of the shrewd manager. Y'all remember Jesus talking about the shrewd manager? It seemed like, he like the one who took the one coin and hid it, knowing that if he lost it, his master would get upset. And his master got upset because he didn't
Increase it.
right. He didn't he didn't try to do anything with it. So yeah, it goes with that a little bit.
And that one doesn't have a number.
Well, it's verse 16. It just, they didn't. When the people start, when humans start making divisions in scripture or in verses and chapters, we did all that. That wasn't originally
we did
done.
all
That
that.
was all one writing. Yeah, those who are kind reward themselves, but the cruel do themselves harm. So you are what you eat. The wicked earn no real gain, but those who sow righteousness get a true reward. Whoever is steadfast in righteousness will live, but whoever pursues evil will die. Ooh, that sounds like something Yoda would say. Crooked minds are an abomination to the Lord, but those of blameless ways praise the light. Get that a lot. Be assured the wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will escape. Ooh, now that kind of will escape what?
The punishment of the wicked.
Right.
You've been wicked.
Like a gold ring in a pig snout.
Goodness, that's horrible.
It gets better. Is a beautiful woman without consent.
We've heard derivation of that when we talk of a lipstick on.
Putting lipstick on pig. Yeah.
And what's her name? she said that? Oh, no, it was,
There,
Sarah Palin. The lady, well, there's somebody, the lady in that ran in Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah, Ann Richards was governor of Texas.
And yeah, but didn't she say?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
one with the silver foot in his heel.
Yeah.
Poor children.
The desire of the righteous ends only in good, the expectation of the wicked in wrath. So the good look for the good, the wicked expect the worst. Some give freely, yet grow all the richer. Others withhold what is due and only suffer want. You sow what you reap, or that is kind of a, I will say that's kind of a prosperity gospel kind of saying there. So, verse 25, a generous person will be enriched, and one who gives water will get. Okay,
There's no value in giving water.
yes, not. According to Solomon. The people curse those who hold back grain, but a blessing is on the head of those who sell it. Whoever diligently seeks good seeks favor, but evil comes to the one who searches for it. I think that, and I think if we don't think antecedent, I think it's the one who seeks favor.
Yeah, the one who's back.
Yeah, it's evil, but the one who seeks good. Those who trust in their riches will wither, but the righteous will flourish like green leaves. Those who trouble their households will inherit wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise.
Your movie inherit the wind.
Yeah.
A book, which is more important. I met the man that book is about. Sure.
Oh, wow.
I got a book, that book with his signature in it.
Hmm.
Yes. In the
The fruit of the righteous is the tree of life, and the wise capture souls. If the righteous are repaid on earth, how much more the wicked and the sinner? That's an interesting thought. Because, most of us, I think, we think we're righteous at a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And what do we get repaid with?
Yeah, well, the righteous and God are always getting repaid.
On to chapter 12. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but those who hate to be rebuked are stupid. I can agree with that. I don't like to be rebuked. The good obtain favor from the Lord, but those who devise evil he condemns. No one finds security by wickedness, but the root of the righteous will never be moved. Well, that's a nice thought there. A good wife is the crown of her husband, but she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones. Yeah, it's her fault. And there's a comedian named Mike Warnke that talks about he's relaying a story from his daughter who was a Valley girl, spoke Valley girl. But the crux of the creation, a Garden of Eden story, is that Adam basically tells us, she says, look, you got to save yourself, dude. And he said, look, you made us out of house and home. The thoughts of the righteous are just. The advice of the wicked is treacherous. The words of the wicked are a deadly ambush, but the speech of the upright delivers them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. We still hope for that day. One is commended for good sense. Which mine is this. Better to be despised. It's funny, that would be right next, but better to be despised and have produce than to be self-important and lack food.
It says better to be despised than have a servant.
Okay.
Then have what? A servant. So better to be despised and have a servant than to be self-important and lack food.
Okay. It's probably just this is in RSV that I'm getting from, but remember NRSV just got updated last year. So,
Well,
and I'm going off the
what verse is it?
verse 9, 12:9.
Could that kind of be like, delegate? But if you try to do everything, you're just going around in
Oh,
circles.
I guess it could be, the kind of the way I looked at it was, it's better to have a servant that knows what they're doing than to insist that you do it yourself and not get anywhere. I don't know. That's just my thought. If you've got a servant that knows how to cook and you don't, you're gonna go hungry if you don't trust the servant.
Yeah, and then, and she's somebody who helps you, you do not yourself.
But only, say self-doing, that seems self-important.
Well, self-importance is pride.
Right, yeah.
So it's before a fall.
The righteous know the needs of their animals, but the mercy of the wicked is cruel. Kind of agree.
That doesn't fit together.
That would be an interesting one I'm gonna go back and watch this video and make notes of the ones that just do a little research on those. See what those who till their land will have, yes,
So when it says the mercy of the wicked is cruel, is that saying they have no mercy?
yeah, well, it's almost like, what example can I use?
Even when
You got your choice. You can have a broken arm or a broken leg. What's your choice? That's
Then their
that's
mercy
the
is
wicked.
very
That's the
mercy.
wicked's version of mercy. There's a scene. If y'all ever seen the movie Wild Hogs, it's
Oh, I love that movie.
Tim Allen and William H. Macy. Anyway, it's for just regular guys that take off on a road trip on their motorcycles and
They're having midlife crisis.
right, they run across this real bike gang and cross them unintentionally, but kind of intentionally. But anyway, later on in the movie, they get caught by the same biker gang, and the William H. Macy character, he's they capture him. It's like, you guys can't be here and fight us, or we're gonna break his legs. And William H. Macy, his character he's a computer genius. He says, "Don't listen to him. I don't need my legs. I'm a computer expert. I don't need my legs." And they say, "Oh, give them the money. Come on." Right. Those who till their land will have plenty of food. Those who follow worthless pursuits have no sense. Consider. The wicked covet proceeds of wickedness, but the root of the righteous bears fruit. The evil are ensnared by the transgression of their lips, but the righteous escape from trouble. One could assume, I guess, that if we're talking about what comes off your mouth, that the truth comes off your lips.
Jesus said, what's in your heart?
And then we get this is where I don't know what the translators or the compilers were doing when they were doing verses, but oh, never mind. Sorry. The word "is" on my screen looks like 15 to me from here.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So, okay.
I can see why
You want to be
it's-
No. I need to lift my head up or down. There we go. I got progressive ones. Let's get the right one. From the fruit of the mouth, one is filled with good things, and manual labor has its reward. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to advice. Fools show their anger at once, but the prudent ignore an insult. I would say the prudent don't necessarily ignore it. They concern themselves with being the better person, I guess. They don't ignore it, but they don't allow it to goad them into something they're not.
This says conceals dishonor.
Yeah, that would be. Whoever speaks the truth gives honest evidence, but a false witness speaks deceitfully. Well, duh.
Yeah.
Rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Man, that is some neat imagery.
Yes, it is.
You know what sarcasm's root is? The root word of meaning of sarcasm?
Well,
Slash.
What?
So when you use sarcasm, it's like thrusting, slashing somebody.
Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment. I don't know about it. No, sticks and stones might break my bones, but word will never hurt me. No, words hurt. That don't just last a moment. My guess is maybe that the person who lies is only telling it for the moment. To get past the moment, and then maybe later on they've got to make more lies in order to cover up the first one. I don't know. That's just a guess on it. Deceit is in the mind of those who plan evil, but those who counsel peace have joy. No harm happens to the righteous, but the wicked are filled with trouble.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Solomon must have, he must have been just nice. Or, never had any problems. We know that's not true. Lying lip, yes. What are you gonna say? Something?
Maybe they mean eventually.
Well, yeah, we can always, that's why we call this Game of Thrones. We can look at this from an eternal throne
If
kind of
it's the
view.
eternal throne, then
Certainly. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. That one's a difficult one for me. Not that I think lying is not wrong, I do, but I think there is a way to righteously lie in order to protect someone else.
Do no harm.
Right. So anyway, one who is clever conceals knowledge, but the mind of a fool broadcasts folly. That's kind of interesting. One who is clever conceals knowledge. I read that and I automatically think of a lawyer. They're only going to say what needs to be said. They're only going to answer the question with right. Don't give them any extra.
Yeah.
But a fool, Jim Carrey.
it's for lawyers.
Down on lawyers. I'm just saying that's what I think.
And sometimes they do so much, they can't say anything straightforward. And everything is always on the one hand and on the other hand.
Speaking of hands, the hand of the diligent will rule, while the lazy will be put to forced labor. Anxiety weighs down the human heart. Yes, it does. But a good word cheers it up. Yes, it does. The righteous are released from misfortune, but the way of the wicked leads them astray.
See, mine says the righteous gives good advice to friends.
Mm.
And you said, well, the righteous are
Released from misfortune.
That's not even make any sense.
It's amazing what
Translation.
translators.
Doesn't go.
The lazy do not roast their game. The diligent obtain precious wealth. Drunk when he wrote down. Cut it.
Uncertain.
There you go. Meaning of the English is uncertain.
Okay, yeah.
In the path of righteousness there is life, in walking its path there is no death.
That gotta be true.
Now the 13 here. A wise child loves discipline, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. I would say I don't think anybody likes discipline. We put up with it. I don't know. We appreciate discipline. Maybe that's what it should be.
Eventually.
From the fruit of their words, good persons eat good things, but the desire of the treacherous is for wrongdoing. Those who guard their mouths preserve their lives. Those who open wide their lips come to ruin. That's that statement I was saying before. It's better to be thought of a fool than to open your mouth and all that. The appetite of the lazy craves and gets nothing, while the appetite of the diligent is richly supplied. The righteous hate falsehood, but the wicked act shamefully and disgracefully. Righteousness guards one whose way is upright, but sin overthrows the wicked.
Can I ask a question?
Nope.
Please. Do you think these are all like oral tradition sayings that just the accumulated?
And he compiled them, you know. My guess is he probably, you know, being who he is, he had many advisors. He had many wives through, you know, for political gain, but also for trade and things, you know, things like that. My guess is that he probably heard very similar things through different cultures and compiled them in a way that he could understand them. That's just my guess. You know, I don't know that for sure. But yeah, and over time he's heard his advisors telling these things or heard his dad, you know, some of these do sound like David a little bit. But yeah, I'm certain that it came from family members, from advisors, things like that, that he's just compiled them. And obviously there's no set order of where these things are. He's writing them down probably as he hears them, or you know, he's looking through his diary, flipping pages, and oh, there's somebody that told us not to write that down. You know,
I want to see him flip those stones down.
yeah,
A lot of oral tradition.
it would be.
True. And they might have been things he used, because every day people came to him to talk that. And there might have been things he send them on their way.
Some pretend to be rich, yet have nothing. Others pretend to be poor, yet have great wealth. Wealth is a ransom for a person's life, but a poor person pays no attention to rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked goes out. By insolence, the empty-headed person makes strife, but wisdom is with those who take advice. Oh, I see a thing I need to edit there. Wealth hastily gotten will dwindle, but those who gather little by little will increase it. That's the story of the ant. The ant and the grass. It's a Aesop fable, or Grimm's fairy tale. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life.
I don't agree with that.
Well, good for you, Marianne.
Thank you, I've had trial for having desires fulfilled. Like that's our problem in this world. We want our desires fulfilled.
Let's look at it from an eternal. You know, if we do not offer hope to anybody, then they have no hope, and there's nothing to look forward to. But if you provide them with their desire of hope, I'm assuming that's what the desire is.
Maybe there's something to look forward to.
Those who despise a word bring destruction on themselves, but those who respect a command will be rewarded. I command you, in the name of Jesus. Yes, it doesn't work that way. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, so that one may avoid the snares of death. Good sense wins favor, but the way of the faithless is their ruin. The clever do all things intelligently. No. But the fool displays folly. Yes. A bad messenger brings trouble, but a faithful envoy healing.
No, she's the message.
The poverty, or sorry, not the poverty. Poverty and disgrace are for the one who ignores instruction, but one who heeds reproof is honor. A desire realized is sweet to the soul, but to turn away from evil is an abomination of fools. It's kind of a weird way to put it. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise. I disagree. But the companion of fools suffers harm. I can agree with that.
Well, but it's, yeah, you're more, you pick your buddies, and you're better off picking wise ones than.
If you like young doctor came up with, please.
Indeed.
We need to put that in 20.2.
20.3 is thou shalt not fall.
All right.
Yeah.
The 11th commandment. That was on that broken third tablet.
Yeah.
Misfortune pursues sinners, but prosperity rewards the righteous.
Not always.
No.
Hey,
The good leave an inheritance to their children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up. Yeah, I know, that's a kind of weird one.
laid up in heaven.
Verse 22, 13:22. I'm saying those out loud, so I can go back after and look at it. The field of the poor may yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. You agree with that? Those who spare the rod hate their children, but those who love them are diligent to discipline them. I will say, if you know anything, if you've heard anything, heard me say anything about, I love my parents, truly do. My parents were biblical literalists, in some ways still are, but not fully. I got whipped with a dowel rod for most of my childhood because they took the literal King James and spare the rod, spoil the child.
Wow. Did you deserve it?
Usually.
Too.
The righteous have enough to satisfy their appetite, but the belly of the wicked is empty.
Well, they're never satisfied, that's true.
Right.
They never have enough.
The wise, okay, on to verse chapter 14. We have to hurry up here. The wise woman builds her house, but the foolish tears it down with her own hands. Interesting, it goes to wise woman. Because in the Gospels, it's the wise man builds his house on the sand.
But, my footnote says the wisdom of women. Yes.
But it does say man in the original. Or the King James.
Well, yeah, King James ain't the original either, but I will just say, well, that's how it's true.
The Hebrew says wisdom of women rather than that wise woman, so.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how they change pronouns.
Well, again, the wise man builds house on the sand is in the Gospels. It's in the Greek. This is in the Hebrew, so we can't really. Those who walk uprightly fear the Lord, but one who is devious in conduct despises. The talk of fools is a rod for their backs, but the lips of the wise preserve them. I don't know. Telling the truth sometimes gets me whipped too. Where there are no oxen, there is no grain. Abundant crops come by the strength of the ox.
This says where there are no oxen, the manger is clean. Instead, there is no grain.
Yeah.
A faithful witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lie. A scoffer seeks wisdom in vain, but knowledge is easy for one who understands. I will say a scoffer seeks wisdom in vain. That is like someone who proof texts or someone who disagrees with you on one side of a debate, and when they go to look up research for it, they only use the things that agree with them. They don't listen to those that disagree. In seminary all the time, trying, I did it, trying to prove my point, and yeah, I'm sure Dr. Sumney didn't care for that. He wants both sides of the issue as long as you agree with him. So yeah, he was nice. Leave the presence of a fool, and for there you do not find words of knowledge. Okay. If it is the wisdom of the clever to understand where they go, folly of fools misleads. Fools mock at the guilt offering, but the upright enjoy God's favor. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. The house of the wicked is destroyed, but the tent of the upright flourishes. There is a way that seems right to a person, but its end is the way to death. We've heard that one. That's a famous proverb. There's a way that seems right to man, but the end of it is. Even in laughter, the heart is sad, and the end of joy is grief.
That's not very cheerful.
Nope. Leave Solomon to that's his son. The perverse gets what their ways deserve, and the good what their deeds deserve. And we actually get that in one of Paul's letters. I think it's First Corinthians.
You know, these, when you read through these, it really makes clear the idea of you work to make your way to heaven versus you have grace.
Well, keep in mind, we live in a time of grace. The Old Testament lived in a time of an expectation of a Messiah.
And you had to work your way.
Right. There was, yeah, so. Yeah, we living in grace, we are given eternal life, even though we don't deserve it. In the Old Testament, it was a little bit different. You had to work to be in God's.
You see that a lot.
The simple believe everything, but the clever consider their steps. It's a nice one. The wise are cautious and turn away from evil. The fool throws off restraint and is careless. One who is quick-tempered acts foolishly, and the schemer is hated. Well, come on, give us a positive thing there. The fickle are adorned with folly, but the clever are crowned with knowledge. Oh, there we go. Thank you, son. The evil bow down before the good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The evil, basically, if we were to add all the verbiage and stuff, the evil bow down before the good, the wicked bow down at the gates. If we were to add that in there. Don't know about that. The poor are disliked even by their neighbors. The rich have many friends. Yep, I can agree with that. Those who despise their neighbors are sinners. Happy are those who are kind to the poor. Ah, the second greatest commandment. Do not those who plan evil err? Those who plan good find loyalty and faithfulness. In all toil there is profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Yeah. If you're all talk and no action, you don't get anywhere. The crown of the wise is their wealth, but folly is the garland of fools.
The crown of the wise is their, mine has wisdom.
Okay.
Is their wealth.
Again, I'm using the 2021.
What does it say?
Y'all said the 1992.
Crown of the west.
2020.
The idea there is this comparison of crown versus garland on your head.
But what is verse 20? The crown of the wise is their wealth. Wealth and wisdom are
Well, to us, they're different.
reversed. Yeah.
In one together.
A truthful witness saves lives, but one who utters lies is a betrayer. In the fear of the Lord, one has strong confidence, and one's children will have a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, so that one may avoid the snares of death. The glory of a king is a multitude of people. Without people, a prince is ruined. Whoever, yeah. Whoever is, yeah. I am the king of my own domain. Where are my people? I don't have any. Standing apart.
You're over.
Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding. One who has a hasty temper exalts folly.
Yeah.
A tranquil mind gives life to the flesh, but jealousy makes the bones rot. Those who oppress the poor insult their maker. Wow. But those who are kind to the needy honor him. The wicked are overthrown by their evil doing, but the righteous find a refuge in their integrity. Being the bigger person there. Wisdom is at home in the mind of one who has understanding, but it is not known in the heart of fools. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any. A servant who deals wisely has the king's favor, but his wrath falls on one who acts shamefully. And on to chapter 15. This is where we're going to get in this chapter. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise adorns knowledge, but the mouths of fools pour out. We got this big time wisdom versus folly here, and that's what Proverbs pretty much written for. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. Good.
And Santa Claus.
Santa Claus,
can
yeah.
watch you.
Ray Stevens had a Christmas song. Y'all know Ray Stevens, right? Had a Christmas song called Santa Claus is Watching You, and it was not a very nice song. Santa Claus is watching you. He's out, man. Yeah, y'all can imagine it, his voice. A gentle tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. A fool despises a parent's instruction, but the one who heeds admonition is prudent.
We get that a lot, I mean, that thought comes through in a lot of things.
In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but trouble befalls the income of the wicked. Burns a hole. The lips of the wise spread knowledge, not so the minds of fools. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord. Prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves the one who pursues righteousness. There is severe discipline for one who forsakes the way. One who hates a rebuke will die. Sheol and Abaddon lie open before the Lord. How much more human hearts? Sheol and Abaddon are the two words for hell. Sheol means pit. Abaddon means nothingness.
I knew Sheol.
Scoffers do not like to be rebuked. They will not go to the wise. A glad heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is. The mind of one who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouths of fools feed on folly. All the days of the poor are hard. The cheerful heart has a continual peace. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. So it's all about fear of the Lord. And fear there is awe or reverence. Better is a dinner of vegetables where love is than a fatted ox and hatred with it. Those who are hot-tempered stir up strife, but those who are slow to anger calm contention.
You get that message. So.
The way of the lazy is overgrown with thorns. Path of the upright is a level high. You work to it, you will get where you're going. A wise child makes a glad father. Foolish despise their mothers. Okay. Folly is a joy to one who has no sense, but a person of understanding walks straight ahead. Without counsel, plans go wrong, but with many advisors, they succeed. I don't necessarily agree with that. To make an apt answer is a joy to anyone, and a word in season, how good it is. For the wise, the path of life leads upward in order to avoid Sheol. The proud tears down the house of the proud, but maintains the widow's boundaries. Oh, I'm sorry. The Lord tears down the house, maintains the widow's boundaries. Evil plans are an abomination to the Lord, but gracious words are pure. Those greedy for unjust gain make trouble for their households, but those who hate bribes will live. The mind of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours out evil. Yeah, that's thinking before you speak there. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and good news refreshes. The ear that heeds wholesome admonition will lodge among the wise. Those who ignore instruction despise themselves, but those who heed admonition. And then the final verse here in chapter 15. The fear of the Lord is instruction in wisdom, and humility goes before.
Can I ask a question, please?
You know, you ask the question, so.
Is there a word for this where you have these couplets, words, positive, negative, or negative, positive?
I mean, couplets is a nice.
So I mean, is there some biblical?
No, there's no theological statement. Couplets is a nice way. When we get to the parables and, in the gospels, you see a lot of what we call book ending. But again, that's just, it's just a general term, book ending. It starts with a thought and ends with either the same thought or the opposite.
Yeah.
So, just book it. These are compared to contrast. Most of these proverbs are compared.
I just thought maybe there was a biblical term, theological.
Not that I can, maybe there is, but nothing that I learned. Seminary, failed me on that. So. Okay, so next week we'll go through some more Proverbs. We're not a very long book in the general sense of things, but we're gonna go hopefully 16 to 20, chapter 16 to 20 next week, and so then we'll eventually get back to the narrative, but just want to read some of Solomon's stuff. After Proverbs, we're probably going to go into the Song of Solomon.
Crown of glory was gained for rising up.
He would have been writing a Hebrew. Aramaic didn't come along until after the exile, during the time of the
Pretty good.
time of the Maccabean, that time frame, Aramaic would have started becoming more common. We did. And one thing about biblical books, they're named typically, number one, after the overarching theme or the first word in that book when it comes to Old Testament. Okay, in the Old Testament anyway. So we get to First and Second Samuel. Well, first they were originally one book, Samuel. Well, the first word is. We get to the prophets. Most of the prophetic books were written in the name of the prophets. It starts off, I such and such names. Genesis is about beginning. It's an overarching theme. Exodus, same thing, overarching theme. Leviticus, overarching. So Numbers actually talks about the counting of the people. Specifically.
Good plan.
Well, those are
Great plan.
they're all yeah.
About stamina.
Proverbs, it could be the overarching thing, but one of the first words is these are the Proverbs of Solomon.
All right.
Okay.
So that.
Right. But that one fits both ways. Okay, well, we'll see y'all next week.